Okay, I think we can continue. So welcome everyone on the, or rather start. So welcome everyone on the Metal3 Community meeting. Today is the 5th of August 2026. My name is Adam Rosman and I will be your host today. Based on the participants, I don't think that there would be anyone who has not joined a meeting before. I don't know, Ahmed, have you joined community meeting before? I know you've been active in community, right? I mean, yeah, no worries if you don't want to speak. It's fine. Just usually we have this segment where you can introduce yourself if you want, but no worries, we can continue. Then I guess we will continue with the reminders. Please remember that the meeting is recorded. If you would like to have the project, you can do that by contributing to the good first issues or the issues that has the help wanted label. You can filter with the GitHub issue filter, or you can just use the link from the document. If you are part of an organization that would be okay with publicly disclosing the adoption of MetaCube, you can do that by pushing a pull request changing the adopters.md file in the root of the community repo. That's the same way as others have done before you. And that would help us track the level of adoption. And then if you think that the change that you made is facing a test issue, tests are failing for some reason, but you think that's not related to your change, then please file an issue in the affected repo and link it to the MetaCube CI tracker. Honestly, the tracker is not seeing much use nowadays. There are not really any new issues, although the CI is facing them from time to time. I don't know if it's because we are fixing them so quickly or because it's relevant to only a subset of the contributors, but we don't really see much use of this flake tracker. Anyhow, if you are interested about any other links and statistics, then feel free to follow or if you're interested about any other artifacts or documentation or information about the project or the services that we use, then please follow the links. And what I wanted to say is that there is one change with these services. So now all of the PR tests that we trigger on jobs, meaning the PR tests that are E2E tests, long-running tests that require virtual machines and so on, those have been moved from the old Jenkins to the new Jenkins, as well as the most of the periodic jobs. We have a tiny subset of jobs that have not been moved yet, but most of the stuff that we are using usually that has been moved, and please start using this new Jenkins. I wrote it on the Slack channel and also pasted in the documents that this will be the Jenkins moving forward. The old ones still have everything in place, but we are not triggering the PR jobs on that anymore. And I got the feedback that now I can start dismantling the periodics on the old ones also. Has anyone tried it among those who are in the meeting?
I mean, I've seen the new Jenkins. I was looking at some logs, but I don't think it counts as involvement too much. It seems to work. Provides logs.
Okay, that's good to hear that you were able to log in and do the usual stuff, because we changed the authentication and other things too.
Yeah, it asked me my GitHub to authorize through GitHub. That's what I did. Then I could open Blue Ocean, download logs, the normal stuff.
Yeah.
Same. Working as usual for me.
Great.
Just approving that one time a GitHub thing, and then it's ready.
That's great. Okay, then everything's so far goes according to plan. These Jenkins will be supposed to be a bit more resilient also against restarts and interventions if we have to do something on it than the previous one. Also less messy because it's just ours. No one else lives on this, unlike on the Nordics. So let's hope this will be working for us for a long time. Okay. Yeah, nothing much else from me. I think we forgot to check one stuff, one item last week during the triaging. I don't want to do full triaging again. That will happen next week, but we had this one, and we didn't have time last week to discuss. But I would like to, because this was pushed back, and we have asked for more information, and then Nutti has provided more information related to this pre-boot file injection. I don't know. I'm kind of familiar with this, and his new approach. What I can add to this discussion, because it's mainly between you Dimitri, and Nuti, that this might be something that can come very handy for your host operations work. If for these host operations, because you specifically listed rebuilding a node, restarting, doing these things, this sort of file injection could come very handy in those scenarios when you are doing maintenance on a node and you need to inject something before the cloud init runs, or before any regular configuration manager runs, or maybe not just inject but change files that are on the disk. So I still see some value in this. Maybe not. Maybe the most valuable thing here is not the monitoring aspect, that you can inject something that monitors the early boot, but rather that during maintenance or some sort of intervention, you can inject these files or modify files on disk. Yeah, I don't know if you read this, or if you can be convinced to allow this.
I can be convinced. I need to sit on this thought a bit, read this carefully, this text. So I'm not ready to say right now. I'll keep it open right here in my browser. Probably just check it after today's meetings.
Okay.
I'm not like super against it. I'm just making sure we have the necessary conversation and we don't just do it because that I feel things that came to our mind. It looks like it's not, so it looks like we can proceed with discussion.
Okay. Yeah. I think how we will do it or should do it is that you have time to read it. I just wanted to bring it up, and next week on the triaging, if you are joining, I think then we can continue with this. I just wanted to keep this in our collective mind that this is still alive. This proposal or issue. Okay. So that's from last week.
By the way, are you against writing a design proposal for this RFE?
No.
Because I think it's an API addition. I think it's good to have a design proposal.
Yes, yes. The idea was from Nutti's side, I discussed with him, is that he wanted to do the issue first, so to gauge kind of the sentiment, and then the next is to do the proposal. Yes, I agree. So I can write it down that we discussed as much as that we would need a proposal.
Yeah, let's do it this way. When you have a proposal, just ping me. Because I think discussions in GitHub this way have the limits.
Push it to docs repo. Can I then accept this if you ask him to write a proposal?
Yep. Should probably have
Okay.
some sort of a tag like requires design proposal.
Mm.
I have a typo
Yeah,
and accept
typo.
it.
Okay, and then what will we put here? Do we have something that would fit? This sounds good. Lowest priority, possibly useful, but not yet enough support to actually get it done. Kind of the best so far, I think. Yeah. Feature. Yeah, no milestone project. Oh, not the CI tracker. No. The roadmap and backlog. Okay, that looks quite reasonable. Okay. Okay, we can continue. Then you had some comments for the working groups, the scalability one.
Yep. So I've clearly said this phrase in the past several times, but I have once again revived interest in scaling testing downstream, more specifically putting some realistic numbers against different operations. In parallel to that, we are building some general guidance in Ironic, which is a patch you are looking at. That is not based on measuring it. That's just, anecdotal information, whatever operators have reported, whatever we know from OpenShift experience, this sort of stuff. This page, when updated, will be linked from some Metal3 scaling guides, which I'm planning to write, which I then want to update based on whatever testing I'm going to be doing. Probably with fake API, maybe also without fake API, depending on how many machines I can find. And that's really just a heads up, and please review this document, even if you don't have any rights on Ironic upstream. Input is still very valuable. If you don't have a Gerrit account, just let me know Slack or something.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks. I think it's worth to check for quite a few people. Yeah. Okay, and so that's why you are interested in the fake IPA. Okay. Okay, let's continue. I think this will come up again in the discussion topics also. So yeah, update about the Metal3 UI with the headlamp. I had a meeting yesterday, as every week. This work is getting to its final phases. Now there will be a release of headlamp where this plugin will be included, and then after that I will ask the community to provide feedback and try to use it. I think it has got a bunch of features now, like not just what is presented on the README, but there are a lot of pending PRs that are getting merged in these days. And at this point, I think we have map view, we have overview page, a bunch of things. So I think it will be interesting for the community. But I will get you more info when the release is out. Okay, then what else we have here? No, not much. Then the release and the roadmap. I don't think we have anyone from release team at the moment. Yeah, but release team have shifted the code freeze. I wrote 7th of August. Well, in our discussion, I just heard that until end of this week. I assume this is like the end of work week, so 7th of August, because the CAPI release was beta release was a little bit shifted, and then our beta was a little bit shifted. So we need to give a week for people to test the beta, and then we will still have the RC, and then after RC we will still need to do the actual release. Other than this, yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about when it comes to the releases. And then we can go to the discussion topics. And these are mostly from you, Dimitri.
Yep, today's my day. The first one is a quick suggestion, and the quick suggestion is to stop running integration jobs on Ironic Image. I think it's a more or less legacy at this point. It's very odd that we run integration jobs on Ironic Image, but not on BMO. Like BMO is a big integration point, and I think it's just legacy from the time when Ironic Image did not have functional jobs on it. Now we have both BMO end-to-end jobs and Ironic standalone operator jobs, and I think they just cover what we need. Also, I'm not sure it's still the case, but in the past, I remember the integration jobs didn't even test new Ironic changes. There was some issue with building images. So it may be the case that we're running them absolutely pointlessly. My suggestion just to drop them, at least from all releases where BMO end-to-end jobs are already running.
Yeah, fine by me.
And +1 from me also.
Please remind me, is this GitHub Action job or is this Jenkins job?
Jenkins must be. So I have to go to project config, I guess, to drop it.
Yeah, I can drop it for you, don't worry.
Okay,
If you
cool.
don't want.
Yeah. If you have cycles, please do.
Okay. PEC revisited, that's the other topic. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I guess for the scaling.
Yeah, just continuing the same topic, since probably our team probably will be looking into some sort of scale testing. And fake API is obviously the easiest way we can approach it. I'm curious if this is all we have, this Docker file, or is there any harness around it, or if there's any interest of having this harness around it, I don't know, in forms of some playbooks or maybe VBMKTL extensions. Whatever form you would like it to take.
this is used in CAPM3 scalability testing, isn't it? Leonard, do you remember?
Yeah, it's used in there, and that's probably the best place to go look. I think that's the only thing that we run currently that uses this fake IPA. So anything else could be broken potentially. There should be, if you go a little bit down, I think there is below something that is just, scalability test almost at the bottom.
I'm just, this one I will link.
Can we extract it somewhere? Because my focus right now will be on BMO and ironic. I'm not going to test CAPM3 in the first row. So having it tied to CAPM3 is kind of a problem.
There might be a POC, a use case POC in devenv2 separately. A moment. We will check. Like I have a vague memory that there was a POC for this on this box. Was it added here? No. Fake? No. Huh. What? There was there no POC here. Fake. Yeah, I remembered correctly. The devenv has an option to run it. You can run devenv with this, and this is less. This is much more simple if you don't run it in the context of the CAPM3.
Yeah, provided that it still works. I'm a bit skeptical. I don't know when we last run this.
No idea. Ancient, but who knows? I don't think, on the other hand, that fake IPA received much functional improvement either. So yeah, it will be interesting to. I will link this, because if this works, this is relatively simple.
Okay, that's a start. Ideally, I would want it separately from MetaCube Defense for obvious reasons, because nobody wants to use MetaCube Defense anymore. And ideally, it would be really great if I could run it on OpenShift. But that is like secondary. I'm happy to start with upstream bits.
Do you plan to integrate this with IRSO, by the way? That would be quite cool.
In what way?
I'm thinking fake ironic. No, maybe IRSO is the wrong place. I was just thinking that's the way I deploy ironic, so it would sort of make sense to fake it that way, but no, just a thought.
It has to be kind of integrated with Sushi Tools, because Sushi Tools has to be aware of fake APA. So
True.
for me, VBM KTL may be a more natural place to have it.
Yeah, true. That's very true. Interesting thought.
Yeah, I can. So thank you guys for the links and your thoughts. I can look at that, maybe talk to Claude a bit and come up with something we could do to run it by you later on. At least I have something to start with.
Okay, that's nice. And then you have this one.
Yeah, you reminded me about host operations.
Yeah, I haven't commented yet for the TTL versus number of ops. You asked where I've seen this in Kubernetes. There is one for pods in the global config of the cluster, for example. You can specify how many to keep. and how many to throw away after they are terminated, for example.
Yeah, my worry bit is TTL, by the way, I take it from jobs, for Kubernetes jobs. My worry a bit is host operations are different. So for example, you may not care about reboot operations at all, just succeeded, deleted, but you may want to keep all service operations or things like that, or keep them for like significant time because they change status. So I wonder if keeping n of them, if any of them is the right thing to do.
Yeah, but I wrote on my first comment that we could provide a label or something like that to exclude any given job, or not job, but what is this, any given operation from the kind of the TTL. So if you put that, then it will be just excluded, and then the last n is kept among those that does not have this. This one, I think this issue what you mentioned is also relevant for the time-based cleanup, because there you might need jobs, or you might need host operations to stay, that, as you said, not reboots, but I don't know, something else.
Yeah, but TTL is a property of an operation. It's not a global property. So if I can create a reboot job, a reboot operation with TTL of 0, and I create a service operation with a TTL of 90 days, for example, that is not a problem here. It's a problem that it becomes a global setting.
But then, okay, that has its own issues, that you have to estimate that how long do you have to keep this on a per operation basis. That's also, for me, could present some issues, because you might not know, or it might changes with time. I don't know. So in my opinion, yeah, I think we can do it both ways. I don't really see, to be honest, either of these much more advantageous than the others. For me, or at least I was gravitating towards keeping the last n of these. But if you would go more granular, and you think that it's acceptable to decide on per operation basis how long in time we should keep them, okay, but then in this case you will need to measure time, because you cannot even, like, you have to match it with the date properly, right? Like with calendar date.
No, that's like the remaining seconds. So essentially, when the job, the host operation is finished, I reschedule reconciliation in this number of seconds.
Yeah, I understand. But if we talk about that, like I keep it for 5 minutes for a reboot, but I keep it for 90 days for some maintenance, then it will be checked and checked and checked and all the time. Like, and if you keep certain operations for that long, you will calculate eventually a bunch of these distances from start date.
But then it's only on startup. Only when BMO starts, we have to calculate everything, because all resources are going to be reconciled. Then, for example, if I finish operation with TTL of 5 minutes, I return from reconciler, retry after 5 minutes. And if it's like 90 days, no, it's not retry after, how it's called, delay. So whatever reconciler returns, delay 90 days, right? And that whole thing should not return to me until 90 days elapse or BMO is restarted.
Okay, so okay. That I didn't see in this doc. I might just missed it, that you would put this also in, so that it will be not it will be watched, but it won't be reconciled for X amount of time then.
Yeah, I can put the details. did not explain it probably properly. But that was my thinking, right? From any reconcile, we can return when this resource has to be reconciled again. And that's exactly this value for finished operations.
Hmm.
You don't have to do any maths.
Okay. That resolves quite a few of my concern, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Then that way I'm fine with it. What was the other question? That was
We
one
have a
of
bit of like bike shading about calling blocking, flag blocking optional. And my thinking is optional was that we kind of organically use booleans so that they default to false. I know there are two ways of doing that in Kubernetes, really, but we seem to be following this one. So when empty, we kind of use empty value as a default. So if we have blocking, then the organic way would be to default it to false. But I imagine you want a default to true, which means pointers to booleans and a bit awkward API. That's why I thought about optional, so that it can default to false naturally.
Yeah, I think we have to. Yeah, you. I think properly, like said that this is like kind of two discussion. Then where this known value as a default, this drives me crazy. I hate this. I ask most people in reviews to please don't do this empty pointers and whatnot. Like if it's a boolean, like make it true or false. I honestly like this much better. I think it's much more descriptive, much less error prone than the empty values. I might be on the minority here, but I like when it's either false or true and it defaults to one of those, especially with booleans. Honestly, blocking true or false or optional true or false, I don't mind. It's fine. For me, the blocking seemed a bit more descriptive than optional because that would block the progress. But if you name it optional, I'm fine with that. Also, I don't mind. For me, I like the blocking better, but it's just question of taste. I would guess.
Can we do something like continue on error?
Yeah, I mean, it could be continue on error. That's fine also. I mean, really, it doesn't matter. But I would like this to be true or false. That I'm much more interested in than what's it called.
Okay, I'll think about it. I'll probably propose something like continue on error or anything, because I agree optional is not great. That's like, I'll think about it.
Okay.
That's all about this. And of course, who hasn't read this proposal, please do read it. It's a pretty significant addition to BMO API. It's kind of a change of paradigm quite a bit. So, Leonard, maybe if you could take at least a quick look, it would be helpful.
Yeah, it's on my list. Sorry, I have been a bit slow.
Cool. I also have enormous amounts to do. I may not get to it until next week anyway. So if you, for example, can take a look by end of week, it would be just totally great.
Yep, I'll try.
I will just write down my feedback here. I will try to summarize it later if I don't forget. for the name. Okay. Okay. We can go check the backlog. This will be faster than last time because we had already like the first session when we went through all the milestones for the for the upcoming release. Is there anything that anyone would like to discuss before we go and check the milestones?
Yeah, I want to. Hi everyone. I want to steal a bit the meeting, like 4 or 5 minutes to maybe somewhat related change. I've shared it into the chat. So just a quick recap of what it is. Essentially, it in the sushi tools land, there is a hack that currently virtual BMC, I think, uses for one-time reboot stuff, and it kind of works in BMO. But if you try to do like use sushi tools in general for provisioning, any kind of provisioning, boot once doesn't really work because of the how the essentially libvirt works, right? And this change basically emulates that boot once feature of hardware. It might be useful to bare metal operator also, so I wanted to highlight it quickly. I know Dmitry looked at some of the changes related also to this, but this one is kind of a personal thing that I was mostly hitting when I was using sushi tools in general, so I really wanted to have to be upstreamed because like it solves a lot of problems. Sorry for like dropping in into this.
One time boot. Can you? I might have a suspicion what this is, but in general, if it wouldn't be libvirt, how would this one-time boot work for your hardware?
In libvirt, you can't. I mean, one time works like this. When you set it and the hardware boots up with this override, it just BMC of the hardware itself resets it back to the default. So basically, say I want to boot the hardware into like ISO just one time. I just send this not persistent as a one-time flag into Redfish, right? And it just
Okay.
works, and I don't need to like statefully track it. I just set it and forget it. In case of how it's done right now in the virtual BMC, I think virtual BMC is used. I'm not sure because I'm mixing up with the APMI stuff. It's kind of hacking around persistent stuff. So it works for bare metal operator, but if you want to like run just plain curl files or whatever, like just to change it and emulate it in the libvirt, one time doesn't work. But in case of this change, it's basically like forcing it libvirt to emulate this behavior, and from the caller side, you don't need to worry about it. So essentially, like the common thing that hardware does, right?
Might be something that I'm just trying to think that did I have ever issue with it? I seen the redfish feature that there you can set this one-time boot. That's where it was familiar to me. I never explored this in the context of libvirt itself. Okay. sounds reasonable, but I guess this is up to the Sushi 2 reviewers.
Yeah, I
Timmy,
agree.
should I CC you or I don't know who should take a look? I don't know who is reviewing these nowadays.
I'm kind of aware of all this stuff, but I did review a few of the patches, but in reality, Sushi Tools is kind of at the bottom of everyone's priority list. So we're not ignoring it, it's just the review
I know,
backlog is absolutely massive.
I know that you don't ignore that, but I mean, the problem is that while it takes a lot of time, everyone builds their own solution. Like all the vendor did and hackish forks and like internal forks or even rewrites. I have a personal rewrite of the Redfish PMC basically because I hit that specific feature limitation and I needed that specific time. I mean, I'm fine with it using it locally, like because it's a personal thing and I'm not planning to share it. It may contain bugs, dragons, whatever. I don't care. But in terms of like, if I want to suggest someone to use sushi tools, and I know exactly this is the problem with sushi tools that they will hit. I mean, I'm also like, and also apply this change, and also apply that change, and kind of messy.
Yeah, but Sushi Tools is also no one's primary product, so if people have forks of that, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
I have
it's not
people
a
threatening
problem.
to have a fork of Ironic if I don't land their feature. That's a problem.
It's not a product. It's a dev environment essentially, right? Because you don't mostly don't have a fleet of servers that you can test on.
I know. By the way, KubeVirt now supports Redfish officially. They have an official plugin for KubeVirt. So, in case anyone is not aware of this.
Yeah, but in general, I think it's still a very much liked tool, this sushi tool, and also like using KubeVirt has its own complications as you have to then deploy much more infrastructure.
Yeah, it's not trivial. That's even a nearly unrelated thought. I just wanted to highlight it to the community that's a thing now.
Yeah, believe it or not, they were so kind that they actually posted it to us in MetaCube. Yeah, I think Leonard has a good kind of connection to Qubit folks. I think you were CC'd on that.
Yeah, but I think we are mixing things there because there is also a second KubeVirt BMC separate project, and I think they were the one that posted. But yeah,
Okay.
it's all linked together, and yeah.
Yeah, there were two of them. One of them is now official. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, it's the Redfish. The KubeVirt BMC, they also support IPMI, I think.
Yeah, I understand not wanting to support APMI, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I had a way to not support APMI, I would not do it either. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and generally, as a piece of advice, if anyone is struggling with reviews on an Ironic-related project, we have an upstream IRC meeting every Monday at 15 UTC. That's on the OpenStack Ironic IRC channel, and it has an open discussion section in the end, which is a much better place to ask for reviews or highlight some change. Because right now there is only one Ironic reviewer present, which is me. So yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, thanks for bringing it up. It's anyways an interesting addition. Good to know about it. Let's quickly check the backlog because we are in not the backlog, but the release, the upcoming. I will set this to 7th because Yeah, okay. We have the 114 completely clean for IPAM. That's interesting. I have not. I thought that there will be things here. Interesting. But everything is closed for everything. Oh wow, that's okay. I will take that. Next one. CapM3. There also a bit of editing. 7th. Yes, and what do we have here? Unreachable. This one, yeah, this one will probably fall out. This PR is a bit stale. I am doing the 114 target. Okay. Yeah, the couple CapM3 from devenv that might still land. Update can still, yeah, this is the stealing. Stealing should land. And this is also a bug fix, not a feature. So it can, I think, go on after the freeze because this is fixing an existing bug. But I don't know. We actually, I don't know if we discussed. I have not talked with release team about this. That when we say feature freeze, do we mean all contribution freeze or just the features? This I will ask tomorrow and try to update the community. But I think this still has to be taken then before the feature freeze. I agree. Okay. Yeah, this is the stealing stuff. But where is, there are multiple issues for the stealing, but where is the PR? Okay, then this should be done. Okay. Yeah, this was the same. Okay, I'm getting confused. So there are two issues for stealing, and this was the stealing one. Okay. And then I don't see the one. Oh, and this is weird because this is the CapM3 from Taiwan, yes. But there should be an issue, a pull request. There should be a PR for this. That has to be linked. Yes, this one. Oh my. And this should be linked to the issue also. And this was CapM3 VIP, and this was 14. To this issue. I'm not that sure about that. This will be merged. This is huge. I will discuss this with Adil tomorrow. And maybe this needs to move to 115. Like I don't think this will be merged, but don't wanna remove it yet. I think this is done. We took the beta. Yes, I think this is done. Want to link it to the closed PR. Not even that. Yes. 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 This is done. Okay. So that seems to be fine. Basically, the decoupling and the stealing issue, the two stuff that is in the queue for CapM3. Then for BMO, again, this shifts to the 7th. There are a bit more things. Yeah, I don't think frozen stuff has to be targeting this release. Nope. This is frozen. Then image strategy for release branches. This is being sorted out, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Then host firmware settings. This seems to be stale. Yeah. Mhm. 14. This is not that stale. Let's work on the PR. Okay, user data secret cleanup. This is some E2E stuff. This one, this would be nice if people would approve this. This is just some unit tests. I think we could merge this. This would fit with the 0.14. There is nothing blocking us. I already approved it. Deprecate the BMH taints field, same. It already got an LGTM. We just need someone to approve it. I will check this one. I will CC myself. And then go bump. CC Leonard here. Okay. And then the infinite loop, that would be nice to get fixed. That would be nice to get fixed. I wrote some reviews yesterday. Review has been handled. There have been a lot of changes. I see there is still some comments from the Copilot and it's failing the E2E, but it would be nice to get this merged. Okay, I think we are already over time and I think most of the people left. So I won't go into the IRSO and the ironic image because I don't, maybe into ironic image because I don't know how that looks. I haven't checked and there will be the 38 release. There are 2 open issues, prepare and extra configurations. I don't think there is. I don't think there is any reason to keep this for this is no. I need the 38 and then click that. Yeah, okay, then this is very clean for the ironic image release also. And then for IRSO, again, this is quite clean. One, 2, mostly bumps, nothing major. I don't think this is. I don't think this will be released with V011.
It looks like we are left alone here.
Yeah,
Everyone left.
I know. I'm just continuing for the sake of the recording, so that we have a full recording of the backlog refinement. But it's actually the end of it. That was the last one, and I don't think this has to be linked to 011. So backlog is in good shape. We have a very clear milestones for the upcoming releases. So that's nice. Only maybe BMO has some disputed or kind of problematic issues or domains.
Can I pick your brain a little bit? I don't know if you want to record.
Yeah, we can. If it's something that can be recorded, then sure.
Maybe we can stop. I guess we can talk more clearly in that way.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Then I will. Maybe it's. I don't know. Can I reach you on Slack if I call you on Slack? Is it okay for you? Because this recording
sure.
will just go on automatically.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. Thanks for joining then, and let's meet next week, and then let's talk
See you.
on Slack. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.